are back with perhaps what has always been the most entertaining educational show on our nation's station. It's the Antigua and Barbuda Social Security Board Junior Science Quiz.
Do you know what Social Security Reciprocal Agreement means? It means if you are moving to another country within CARICOM, you can take your Social Security benefits with you. Now, a key feature of the CARICOM Reciprocal Agreement is that residents have the ability to move and not lose their Social Security credits. Plus, you can access long-term benefits once you satisfy existing criteria. Reciprocal agreements serve to ensure that your Social Security credits within the English-speaking Caribbean and Canada are secure.
Contact the Social Security Office and ask for more details on the reciprocal agreement.
Thank you very much, and good evening, viewers. Good evening. Welcome to this, the Antigua and Barbuda Social Security Board Junior Science Quiz. We are into the second encounter of our second round of competition. Of course, if you were following us last week, you would have thoroughly enjoyed the display between the Antigua Grammar School and the St. Anthony Secondary School, with the Antigua Grammar School making their way onto that final encounter. Remember, it's going to be a final encounter of the top 3 teams, and we will determine first, second, and third place. This evening, we have the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary School coming up against the Pier Secondary School, both of whom will be trying to ensure that they can make their way into that final encounter. Let's meet our competitors for this evening. From the Seventh-day Adventist School, we have Mr. Drayden Gibbs. Good evening to you, Drayden.
Good evening.
Excellent. We also have Ms. Christina Alexander.
Good evening.
Good evening, Christina. And Mr. Jerome Ergas.
Good evening.
Good evening, Jerome. Jerome, you know, I'm tempted to say Fergus because I've not seen an Ergas before, so it's a pleasure to meet the Ergas. Very well, very well. And also standby member for the Seventh-day Adventist School, Miss Brianna Gums. We say good evening to you, Brianna. There we go, with a big smile on her face, hoping that she'll not be called upon this evening again. Yes, yes, welcome. And we trust that your team will do very well this evening. Let's turn our attention to the Pier Secondary School. Seated right beside me is Miss Shawnee Martin. Good evening, Shawnee. And Shawnee is the captain for her team this evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, excellent, good evening. We also have Mr. Keon Brown.
Good evening.
Good evening, Keon. And finally, Miss Jan Parks. Excellent.
Good evening.
Good evening, Jan. And you notice I paused a while ago because I thought I was getting it wrong. Yeah, so I'm happy that you corrected me there, Jan. We also have some standby members for the Pier Secondary School in studio with us. We say good evening to, Mr. Reed is not here. So we say good evening to the team and best of luck to you. Yes. Of course, you know, I cannot do this alone, as I want to be entirely fair to both teams. So we are, with the assistance of some very trusty judges this evening. We say good evening to Miss Asha Agard from the Seventh-day Adventist School, Mrs. Letitia Harris Lawrence from the Pier Secondary School, and Miss Trishelle Wetherill from the Ministry of Education, one of our popular featured judges on this encounter. So we want to say good evening to all of our judges. Of course, assisting us with keeping time this evening is Miss Aisha Lynch, and we have some wonderful people in studio. So again, give yourselves a big round of applause. Thank you for being here. And we'll get right into this evening's encounter. We'll get right into the first round, which is our individual buzzer round. You're reminded that in this round we'll have a total of 6 questions, 2 questions per pair, and we will go in order as you are seated now. You're reminded that each correct answer in this particular round will gain you 5 points. You will be allowed to hear the question read. Should you interrupt me while the question is being read, I'll give you an opportunity to answer. However, if your answer is incorrect, you'll have to turn it over to the other team so that they will have a full reading of that question. So please pay attention, hands on buzzers. We will begin with our first pair of Mr. Gibbs and Miss Martin. Your first question. What is the chemical formula for hydrochloric acid? Seventh-day Adventist Secondary.
HCl.
HCl is correct. Question number 2 for this pair. What element has the symbol B? Seventh-day Adventist.
Boron.
Boron is the correct answer. Thank you very much, Mr. Gibbs. We move on to our next pair of Miss Alexander and Mr. Brown. Are we ready? Good. Your question. What term is used to describe a change of state from liquid to solid? Seventh Adventist.
Freezing.
That is correct. Final question for this pair. What is the pH of a neutral substance?
7.
7 is also the correct answer. And so we turn our attention to the final pair in this round. Ms. Parks and Mr. Ergas. Your first question. Give the common name for sodium chloride. Give the
Common salt.
common salt is correct. What term is given to the part of an atom that contains protons?
Nucleus.
The nucleus is correct. So it seems that the Pier Secondary School, you were a little slow to the chase, slow out of the blocks. Let's have a word from our sponsors, give you a chance to regroup. We'll be right back with the individual explanation round. Viewers, or the clicker round rather, please stay with us.
Do you know what Social Security Reciprocal Agreement means? It means if you are moving to another country within CARICOM, you can take your Social Security benefits with you. Now, a key feature of the CARICOM Reciprocal Agreement is that residents have the ability to move and not lose their Social Security credits. Plus, you can access long-term benefits once you satisfy existing criteria. Reciprocal agreements serve to ensure that your Social Security credits within the English-speaking Caribbean and Canada are secure.
Contact the Social Security Office and ask for more details on the reciprocal agreement.
Oh, wow. Yes, we had our first round, which seemed to have gone very fast, yeah? Pier Secondary School, I suppose it was a case of the nervous jitters. You were a little slow to the buzzer. So we saw the Seventh-day Adventist School dominating the buzzers, coming out of round number 1 with 30 points to the PS Secondary School's 0 points. And so an opportunity here to do some consolidation. This is what we refer to as our clicker round. In this round, we'll ask a total of 4 questions. We invite you to pay attention to the screen. Just a reminder that you'll have 10 seconds, and each correct answer will gain you 5 points. Question 1. Please pay attention to the screen in front of you. Groups of specialized tissues carrying out a specific task are collectively referred to as. Groups of specialized tissues carrying out a specific task are collectively referred to as. And that is time. The correct answer here being. Does anybody care to offer the answer for the benefit of our viewing audience? Look at these blank faces. The correct answer we're looking for there is organ. Organ. Remember, in the makeup of, in our makeup, we move from cells, tissues, organs, yeah, systems, complete organism. Very well. Question number 2. The seesaw is an example of which type of machine? The seesaw is an example of which type of machine? And that is time. I think we'll have to have a talk with our technical people about the sort of images they use on screen. Huh? Quite an interesting one this week. But the correct answer here is? Correct answer here is A, the lever. The lever. Question 3 in this round. We experience night and day on Earth because the And that is time. That is time. Correct answer here is because the Earth is rotating on its axis. Final question in this round. Which of these animals is an omnivore? Which of these animals is an omnivore? And that is time. We've come to the end of this click around. The final answer here for the benefit of our viewing audience is pig. And why do we refer to them as omnivores? They eat both plants and animal products. So there we have it. Quite a bit of an education for us this evening. Let's have a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back. Hopefully with brighter faces. Viewers will be back.
Self-employed persons are independent contractors, including but not limited to doctors, consultants, farmers, fishermen, graphic designers, vendors, bus and taxi drivers, gardeners, and mechanics. Self-employed persons who are also employed are now mandated by law to make self-employed payments. They can declare insurable earnings up to the Social Security ceiling of $6,500 per month. At the end of each calendar year, they may also adjust their declared earnings if necessary.
Contact the Social Security office and ask what you need to know as a self-employed person.
Thank you very much, viewers. Thank you for staying with us. We've had 2 rounds so far. In round number 2, we saw the Seventh-day Adventist School amassing a total of 55 points. Pier Secondary School, you were able to put yourself on the scoreboard with 40 points. So at the end of 2 rounds, we see the Pier Secondary School amassing a total of 40 points to St. Anthony's Secondary, not St. Anthony's, I'm sorry. The Seventh-day Adventist Secondary School amassing a total of 85 points. This is our free response, or what we refer to as our explanation round. In this round, each individual will be given a question. You will have 10 seconds in which to begin your answer. The question will be read twice, so please listen closely. If your answer is correct, your team will gain a valuable 10 points. If it is incorrect, we'll turn it over to your team for some assistance. And if at that point you're able to give us a correct response, you will get 5 points for your team. Is that clear? Should your answer, however, be incorrect, we'll turn it over to the opposing member. All right. All right, and so we've locked the Pier Secondary School away into an airtight room, and so they aren't able to hear the reading of the questions today. So we'll turn our attention fully to the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary. And Mr. Gums or Gibbs? Mr. Gibbs, Drayden. Drayden, here is your question. A cube of white potato was placed in a strong salt solution. At the same time, an identical cube was placed in a container of pure water. Explain what would happen to the 2 cubes after 15 minutes. I'll repeat. A cube of white potato was placed in a strong salt solution. At the same time, an identical cube was placed in a container of pure water. Explain what would happen to the 2 cubes after 15 minutes.
Salt would diffuse into the first cube after 15 minutes, and for the second cube, water would also diffuse into it.
I'm sorry, we'll have to turn that over to your team.
In the salt solution, water will diffuse out of the cube. In the water will diffuse into because there's more water outside than inside. For the cube with the salt water would diffuse out of the cube, and for the pure water would diffuse into the cube because there is less water inside the cube.
You know, I'm almost tempted to give you some points there, but I think, judges, he's using the incorrect term. It is not diffusion, rather. We're looking at osmosis, yes? And so you will find that the water is drawn out of the cube in the salt water, whereas in the fresh water, it becomes more turgid, yes? And so water goes into the cube at that point. So the correct terminology we were looking for there was osmosis and not diffusion. All right, I'm sorry, so we aren't able to give you those points. We'll turn our attention to Miss Christina Alexander. Christina, you need to have a stick over there to hit me over the head. Christina, just a reminder of your name. Listen clearly for your question. In a survey of 50 persons on drug use, 25 said they smoked cigarettes, 5 said they sniffed cocaine, and 20 drank rum. What percentage of people smoked cigarette? A lot of information, so let me repeat again. In a survey of 50 persons on drug use, 25 said they smoked cigarette, 5 said they sniffed cocaine, and 20 drank rum. What percentage of people smoked cigarettes?
50% of people smoke cigarettes.
50% of those who were surveyed smoke cigarette. That is absolutely correct. Very quick math. Thank you very kindly. Put your hands together for her. Final question in this round goes to Mr. Jerome Ergus. Jerome, your question. This one should be a simple one for you. Explain what is hydroponics. Explain what is hydroponics. And that is time. We'll allow your team to assist you. Oh, I'm so sorry. That is time. So you lost out. I thought that one was an easy one. I apologize. I apologize. Blame the judges, nonetheless. So the correct answer we were looking for there was hydroponics being a method of growing plants in nutrient-rich water, all right, as opposed to soil. Good? All right. So testing round, you were able to get what? 1 correct in this round. So you'll just add marginally to your tally. We'll have a quick word, and then we'll invite the Pier Secondary to join us in a little while. So we welcome the Pier Secondary School back in studios. And again, you were outside talking strategy, of course. You've maintained your seating arrangements. And so I note that Shawnee, you will be answering first up. Yes. All right. So in this round, you will have each individual will receive 1 question. You will have 10 seconds within which to offer an answer to that question. If your answer is incorrect, we will turn it over to your team for some assistance. A correct answer gains you 10 points. If it has to be turned over to your team and at that point it is correct, that's a total of 5 points. Is that clear? The question will be read twice, so please listen carefully. Shawnee, your question. A cube of white potato was placed in a strong salt solution. At the same time, an identical cube was placed in a container of pure water. Explain what would happen to the 2 cubes after 15 minutes. A cube of white potato was placed in a strong salt solution. At the same time, an identical cube was placed in a container of pure water. Explain what would happen to the 2 cubes after 15 minutes. I'm sorry? Oh, so she's offered to go straight to the team. You may proceed. Guys, I'm sorry, but that is time. Reminded that you have 10 seconds within which to offer an answer. The phenomenon we're looking for there is osmosis. And you're right, and in this case, I saw him saying, yeah. So the water will be drawn out of the cube that's in the salt solution, and it will be drawn in to the potato from the cube that is in the plain water. Yes, absolutely. All right, so Mr. Brown, your question. Listen carefully. In a survey of 50 persons on drug use, 25 said they smoked cigarettes, 5 said they sniffed cocaine, and 20 drank rum. What percentage of people smoked cigarettes? I'll repeat. In a survey of 50 persons, on drug use, 25 said they smoked cigarettes, 5 said they sniffed cocaine, and 20 drank rum. What percentage of people smoked cigarettes?
50%.
50% is, in fact, the correct answer. Put your hands together for them. Thank you. Final question in this round. Ms. Parks, Jan Parks. Explain what is hydroponics. Explain what is hydroponics. Reminder that is an individual effort. That is time. We can now turn it over to your team. I saw Kian say, no, not me, not me. That's all right. That's all right. In this case, guys, hydroponics is a technique of growing plants in nutrient-rich water, okay, as opposed to the traditional method of growing in soil. So there we have it. You labored a bit in this round. Yeah? Yes? Should we go to a break now? We'll go to a break. How about that? Let's hear from our sponsors. We'll be right back with the scores and the final round.
A sickness benefit is payable weekly to an insured person between 16 and the pensionable age who is absent from work because of a certified illness, not due to occupational injury. There are minimum qualifications that must be met before you make a claim, so please contact your Social Security office to find out more. Most importantly, the claim must be made within 21 days of the illness and the Social Security medical certificate completed in full to ensure timely processing.
Contact the Social Security office to have your questions on sickness benefits answered.
Thank you very much for staying with us. Of course, if you're just joining us, we want to remind you that you are viewing the Antigua and Barbuda Social Security Board Junior Science Quiz. This evening, we are featuring the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary School and the Pier Secondary School. So far, we've had 3 rounds. In round number 3, both teams were able to amass a total of 10 points, which means, in the final analysis, that Pier Secondary School has moved up a bit to 50 points, as well as the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary. You've moved up to 95 points. So there we have it. We'll now say goodbye again to the Pier Secondary School, only for a short moment. It's going to be a quick minute. You'll be right back with us. Christina and company, this is the Beat the Clock round. You'll have 60 seconds in which to answer as many questions as possible. From the looks of it, Mr. Gibbs has been appointed as the person to answer on behalf of your team this evening. Of course, it's a team effort, so we invite you to huddle together. A new question will only be read after you've offered an answer or you've indicated to me to pass. Is that clear? I invite you to speak loudly and clearly so that the judges may hear you, not too close to the mic, lest it becomes too muffled. Please pay attention to the reading of the question. Your 60 seconds begin now. True or false? Both plants and animals contain organs.
False.
Name the force that keeps planets in orbit around the sun.
Gravitational.
Is melting a physical or chemical change?
Physical.
Which state of matter has a fixed shape and volume?
Solid.
Where does digestion normally begin?
The mouth.
Which of these 3 common soil type drains slowest?
Clay.
What is the male sex cell of a plant called?
Pass.
Which sense organ detects bitterness?
Tongue.
What quantity is measured in units of watts?
Electricity.
Where in the body are the ossicles found?
Pass.
True or false? Gold is a conductor.
True.
What term is used to describe the natural home of an organism?
Habitat.
Name the Earth's only natural satellite.
Moon.
How many classes of vertebrates are there?
5.
Cumulus, stratus, and nimbus are all examples of what?
Pass.
Name the structure that transports the human egg from the ovary to the womb.
Fallopian tube.
Where in the body is the iris found?
The eye.
The 2 poles of a magnet are called?
South and north.
What abbreviation is used to mean unidentified flying object?
UFO.
That is your turn. 19 questions you got through. We'll find out how many of them were correct once we do our final analysis. Thank you very much. Give them a round of applause. And so we say welcome to the Pier Secondary School. Of course, I know you were outside talking strategy. And Mr. Brown, you've been selected to answer on behalf of your team. Remind you all that this is a team effort, and so you are allowed to collaborate in this round. A new question will only be read after an answer is given or after you've indicated to me to pass. All answers must come through the designated person, and you will have 60 seconds in which to answer as many of my questions as possible. Speak clearly and loudly so that the judges may hear. Are we ready? Pier Secondary, your 60 seconds begin now. True or false? Both plants and animals contain organs.
True.
Name the force that keeps planets in orbit around the sun.
Gravity.
Is melting a physical or chemical change?
Pass.
Which state of matter has a fixed shape and volume?
Solid.
Where does digestion normally begin?
The mouth.
Which of the three common soil type drains slowest?
Pass.
What is the male sex cell of a plant called?
Pass.
Which sense organ detects bitterness?
Tongue.
What quantity is measured in units of watts?
Energy.
Where in the body are the ossicles found?
Eyes.
True or false? Gold is a conductor.
False.
What term is used to describe the natural home of an organism?
Habitat.
Name the Earth's only natural satellite. You may answer.
The moon.
You may answer. The moon is the correct answer. Right on the buzzer. We'll have a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back with the final scores.
Do you know what Social Security Reciprocal Agreement means? It means if you are moving to another country within CARICOM, you can take your Social Security benefits with you. Now, a key feature of the CARICOM Reciprocal Agreement is that residents have the ability to move and not lose their Social Security credits. Plus, you can access long-term benefits once you satisfy existing criteria. Reciprocal agreements serve to ensure that your Social Security credits within the English-speaking Caribbean and Canada are secure.
Contact the Social Security Office and ask for more details on the reciprocal agreement.
Thank you for staying with us, viewers, and thank you to our studio audience as well. We've seen an interesting competition this evening, a very interesting encounter between the Seventh-day Adventists and the Pier Secondary. After 4 rounds, we have the final scores, and we'll determine now who will be making their way on to the final stage. Pier Secondary, you were able to amass a total of 30 points in round number 4. Seventh-day Adventist Secondary, you amassed a total of 70 points. In the final analysis, the Pier Secondary School amassed a total of 85 points to the Seventh-day Adventist 165 points. A very consistent performance from the Seventh-day Adventists this evening. Let's give both teams a big round of applause. And I know it's never very easy to sit in front of a camera and have someone quiz you, but you represented your schools well, and I want to thank you for choosing to be a part of the Junior Science Quiz. Unfortunately, we must say goodbye to the Pier Secondary School, and congratulations again to the Seventh-day Adventist School. We'll give both teams an opportunity to share a few words of thank you. Shawnee, we'll begin with you.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to say thank you to my principal for helping us to all of this and guiding us. And I want to say thank you to my teammates for being a good team sport, and thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Shawnee. We now turn our attention to Miss Alexander.
Good evening, everyone. Firstly, I would like to say thanks to our Creator, God, because we trusted in Him, and that's the only way we succeeded. And also thanks to our teachers and to my teammates for working together with me so that we could be successful.
And thank you again. Very brief and to the point, both teams. Let's put our hands together. Show appreciation for both teams once more. We also want to say thank you to our judging panel this evening, Miss Asha Agard from the Seventh-day Adventist School, Mrs. Letitia Harris-Lawrence from the Pier Secondary School, and Miss Tricia Wetherill from the Ministry of Education. And to all of the other persons who provided technical assistance, Miss Lynch and the other members of the camera crew and so forth, we want to thank you very much for making things work in the background to ensure that we could bring this episode to our viewing audience week after week after week. So thank you all again. On behalf of all of us here, I'm Ashworth Azil, your moderator. Until we come your way again next week with another interesting encounter where we will see the Clearhorse Secondary School coming up against the Antigua Girls High School. We say good evening and God bless you. See you then.